Better in the United States, data from Johns Hopkins University shows the U.S. has reported its 200,000th death for the virus this year. This grim benchmark as experts warn about the dangers of Omicron subvariant BA.5. Over 1,025,000 people have died of COVID-19 in the U.S. Back here at home, authorities in Aklan province are ramping up efforts to monitor visitors to the world-famous tourist island of Boracay. Calibo Mayor Juris Sucro says he ordered the municipal health office to tighten screening at the Calibo International Airport. He's also requested to again deploy contact tracers in the town and Boracay Island. From 0 cases last month, Calibo now has 19 active COVID cases. Malaytao, meanwhile, has listed 38 cases on the island from July 1 to 18. A majority are South Korean tourists. Now that COVID-19 cases continue to rise, many are still waiting for the government's go signal to get a second booster. But the health department appeals for patience. On Politics as Usual, Wednesday, the agency again explained there is still not enough evidence to support calls for a 4th dose of the vaccine for the general public. So far, the DOH has requested the Food and Drug Administration and the Health Technology Assessment Council to study the second booster for the immunocompromised and those aged 50 to 59.
We need to wait for the decision or the recommendation of FDA so that they can amend their EUA to expand to these sectors. Up until we can get that, and we cannot issue any guidelines until then. So we have to wait, we have to be patient. Our experts are saying that up until now also, our first booster shot is still effective against the severe forms of the disease.
The DOH met with FDA officials on Monday to discuss the matter. The private sector renewed a call for a second booster because of over 1.5 million doses expiring by the end of the month. Another official joining the Marcos administration, Yogi Filemon Ruiz, is now the new commissioner of the Bureau of Customs. President Marcos administered the oath of Ruiz Wednesday. Ruiz previously served as the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Regional Chief in Central Visayas before moving to the Customs Bureau in 2017 as the Director of its Enforcement and Security Services. Ruiz faces the challenge of leading the agency, which has been plagued by corruption allegations for decades. The Justice and Interior Departments now working hand in hand on a program to improve the justice system. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says the initiative aims to beef up prosecution. He cited data that shows the conviction rate is less than 25% for criminal cases, including plea bargaining.
We are not really getting a passing rate. This is not a standard that we can live with in the next few years. We have to change this drastically. When I was analyzing everything and I was discussing with my fellow lawyers the problem of our justice system, what became very apparent was that enforcement and prosecution did not seem to work well together.
Interior Secretary Benher Abalos says there is a need to assess the qualifications of police investigators. The police force has more than 22,700 investigators, but only 123 of that number have a law degree.
We'll have to review. Paano ba kinukuha mga investigator? Ito ba'y volunteer system? Ito ba'y may examination? Kaya ba nila o hindi sa ibaba?
And the DOJ will continue the previous administration's plan to digitize jail records in a bid to fast-track the release of eligible inmates. The move is expected to help decongest jails. The Migrant Workers Department launches a new initiative that seeks to immediately respond to repatriation requests from Filipinos abroad. Tristan Adalo tells us more about the One Repatriation Command Center.
A single approach to help distressed overseas Filipino workers wanting to come home. This is the One Repatriation Command Center launched by the Migrant Workers Department.
Magkatulong-tulungan kami, imbis na magkaturo-turuan, kung paano mapauwi ang isang naghihinagpis na OFW.
Migrant Workers Chief Susan Tutz-Ople says the center will keep OFW families informed while repatriation is ongoing.
Families of OFWs will be able to walk in and provide information.
Ople says she had witnessed how OFWs or even their families struggle to get help from the government agencies when it comes to repatriation.
Wala nang umiiyak na nanay na nangungutang sa mga kapitbahay o sa kamag-anak para lang sumakay ng barko para pumunta na Maynila, maghanap ng tamang opisina na makakatulong sa kanya para mapauwi yung kanyang binubugbog o nilalapastangan na anak.
Requests for assistance can be made personally at the Command Center Help Desk or through their agency's 24/7 hotline or email at repat@dmw.gov.ph. Repatriation requests will be verified until they reach a case study officer who will coordinate with government agencies for appropriate action. The Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA will encode the information in a centralized database for the information of all those involved in the repatriation request. 20 case studies officers from OWA and a third-party agency will accommodate calls.
Off-site sa service providers, we can take in as many as around 2,000 to 3,000 a day.
The Philippine Overseas Employment Agency has received close to 10,000 repatriation requests from 2021 to 2022 and OWA with over 9,000 requests. Overseas workers say they want to come home to avoid being locked up by their employers, contract violations, maltreatment, and medical conditions related to COVID-19, among others. Middle Eastern countries are in the top 5 with most repatriation cases. The Migrant Workers Department also tells OFWs and their families to manage expectations when making repatriation requests. The Philippine government also needs to coordinate with host or destination countries to facilitate repatriation once cleared. Tristan Udalo, CNN Philippines.
Up next, what do senators hope to hear from President Marcos during his first State of the Nation address? And a Filipino-American singer is set to play Belle of Beauty and the Beast in an anniversary special. Keep it here on Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
SMC San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay. SMC San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay.
Ito ang RPN, Radio Philippines Network, DXKT 1071 sa inyong mga radyo, ang Radyo Ronda sa Davao.
Welcome back. 4 days before the State of the Nation address, we asked senators what they hope to hear from President Marcos. Amor Santos tells us their expectations reflect those of most Filipinos.
The Senate Session Hall reopens on Monday for the first regular session of the 19th Congress. Senators will be here in the morning before attending the joint session at the Batasang Pambansa for the President's SONA. Neophyte lawmaker Robin Padilla couldn't hide his excitement.
Asawa ko ang nagpe-prepare. Ako, siyempre, excited ako. Hindi pa ako naka-experience nung nandun ka na, di ba? Yung hindi ka third person eh. Ito, ngayon, talagang, wow!
Padilla specifically wants to know President Marcos' plan for programs started by the Duterte administration, including the war on drugs and Build, Build, Build. Like many Filipinos, senators expect to hear the real state of the nation, as well as concrete plans for the next 6 years, especially in terms of pandemic recovery, agriculture, food security, economy, health, and education.
He can be very honest na ito ang mga problema ng bansa. Di ba? Kasi inabutan niya yan as president. Okay. But what we need is the creativity and the innovation in facing it.
Unang-una na yung food crisis para hindi maging food catastrophe. Yung solusyon sa presyo ng diesel.
Most senior Senator Lauren Legarda hopes the president's plan on pandemic recovery is attuned to addressing climate issues. She also wants to hear the president's foreign policy and stance on the South China Sea dispute. Senator Sonny Angara wants details on the planned partnerships with the private sector. Also a priority concern is the country's 12.7 trillion peso debt, according to Senator Coco Pimentel, who's eyeing the minority leadership. For returning Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, President Marcos should also take steps to unite the country following the divisive elections.
I'm not saying ilibing yung mga issues na valid, but it's time to work together.
It remains to be seen whether Senators Alan and Pia Cayetano would reinforce what's seen as a two-member minority bloc in the Senate. Opposition Senator Risa Ontiveros maintains the minority is ready to do its job with or without new allies.
Ako naman, bilang oposisyon, kahit parang gusto nilang i-evoke ulit yung imahe ng strongman, importanteng manatili yung partisipasyon ng mamamayan. Sana matuto ang kasalukuyang administrasyon sa nakaraan.
Meanwhile, Senator Mig Zubiri is expected to be elected Senate President, and he continues to promise an independent supermajority. Amor Santos, CNN Philippines.
In the 18th Congress, most priority measures of former President Duterte hurdled the House of Representatives despite internal power struggles and challenges brought about by the pandemic. Now with President Marcos's cousin poised to become Speaker, what can Filipinos expect from the House in the 19th Congress? Cian Arcangel reports.
Save for two controversial bills, the supermajority in the House of Representatives of the 18th Congress delivered on most of the former president's agenda. Congressional support was strong. 23 out of the 27 bills certified by Duterte became laws, according to the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office. Key legislation from the House include the Anti-Terrorism Act, reducing corporate income tax rates, and amendments to the Retail Trade Liberalization and Foreign Investments Act. The bills were passed despite a leadership tussle that rocked the House in October 2020. An informal session at a clubhouse outside the Batasang Pambansa elected Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco as Speaker after Taguig Representative Alan Peter Cayetano refused to honor their term-sharing deal. University of the Philippines Political Science Associate Professor Jean Franco credits unhampered lawmaking to the bureaucracy in and out of the House.
You have the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office, you have the Secretariat of the House, that in a way will also try to maintain a semblance of continuity.
But it was not smooth sailing for two controversial proposals by the president. His push for federalism and restoring the death penalty did not get past committee level. Franco says lawmakers were not ready for a major change in the government system.
Federalism is such a huge endeavor and would entail a total overhaul not only of the political system but as well as the economic system. It's difficult, it's expensive, and I think it also lacks more detailed explanation.
When the 19th Congress opens on July 25th, majority of representatives are expected to elect a speaker, later Representative Martin Romualdez, the cousin of President Bongbong Marcos. Romualdez says he expects Congress to be receptive to many of the administration's priority measures.
No hindrances are anticipated. We've talked about it with the economic managers, with their counterparts in the Senate. We're looking forward to a very, very smooth, functioning Congress, both houses po.
On Monday, President Marcos will deliver his first State of the Nation address before a jam-packed plenary hall. At the same podium and rostrum where his late father, former President Ferdinand Edrelin Marcos, delivered his first speech at the newly built Batasang Pambansa 44 years ago. With 31 million votes to his credit, the nation waits for directions from President Marcos to navigate through a period of health and economic crisis. Sian Arcangel, CNN, Philippines.
Plenty of notable firsts in President Marcos's first sauna. We give you a rundown with facts about the chief executive in part 2 of my sauna series. This is the first time for a president whose father built this Batasang Pambansa and delivered the first sauna here in 1978. The elder Marcos declared martial law in 1972, threw his critics in jail, and padlocked Congress, the old legislative building, now the National Museum, where the younger Marcos took his oath on June 30th. FM Sr. wanted his own Congress, a parliament of sorts, so he had his wife Imelda build the Batasan, a completely new edifice symbolic of his Bagong Lipunan or New Society slogan. It housed the interim Batasang Pambansa from 1978 to 1984 and the regular Batasang Pambansa from 1984 to 1986. The opposition called both a rubber stamp parliament. When democracy and the presidential system of government were restored in 1986, the Senate took up residency in the old legislative building, and the House of Representatives ended up in the Batasan, where in some strange twist of fate, the elder Marcos's widow, daughter, and son served as district representatives. Another first after 6 years of Rodrigo Duterte.
Talagang bully ako.
We won't hear a president either cursing, speaking extemporaneously, or deviating from a prepared speech, which Duterte did in every single one of his addresses, with the glaring exception of 2018, where he stuck to the script, speaking for only 48 minutes. But that was because of another first. The chief executive was made to wait because the House of Representatives was busy unseating its speaker. And still another first. Bongbong Marcos is the first president to deliver a sauna who is a junior. There's more trivia that has nothing to do with firsts, but everything to do with BBM. He is the 17th president, but the 7th president of the 5th Republic that came into being when the 1987 Constitution was ratified. The third child of a president to become president in his or her own right. The first was Gloria Arroyo, daughter of Diosdado Macapagal, president from 1961 to 1965. The second was Noynoy Aquino, son of Cory Aquino, president from 1986 to 1992. Marcos is the 11th senator to become president, the 11th to have served as congressman, the second president from Ilocos Norte, the 11th president to be proclaimed by a legislature, and the 7th president to be elected to a single 6-year term, a provision expressly placed in the 1987 Constitution to guard against another dictatorship, not unless a congressman has his way. Catch the third and final part of the series tomorrow right here on Newsnight. On Monday, July 25th, CNN Philippines will bring you President Marcos's first sauna straight from the Batasang Pambansa in Quezon City at 2 in the afternoon. Tune in to our live coverage also of the opening of Congress, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, beginning at 9:30 a.m. Poll watchdogs sound the alarm as Congress pushes for another postponement of the December 5 Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Lawmakers want the polls to be rescheduled to next year or even to 2024 to divert the 8.4 billion peso budget to pandemic and infrastructure projects. Watchdogs believe this is not the way to save funds as expenses are already accumulating with election preparations.
Hindi totoo na masasave natin itong 8 billion na to or 8.4 billion na ito para kung hindi natin to gagawin. Kasi gagawin din naman natin eh. Hindi ko alam kung saan ang wisdom noon ng mga nagpo-propose ngayon.
Paano naman yung mga barangay na hindi maayos yung kanilang barangay SK official? So kailangan na nating ibalik sa mga tao yung karapatan na paltan o i-re-elect ulit yung mga barangay SK officials nila.
Another election watchdog, NAMFREL, says many youth leaders serving since 2018 are already overaged. More stories here on Newsnight. No signs of stopping for BTS. 4 members releasing a new song with 2 chart-topping artists next month. And an appeal for help from the family of this track and field icon who's battling breast cancer. Stay tuned.
SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement, gama sa Davao para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement, ato ni bay. SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement, gama sa Davao para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement, ato ni bay.
Ito ang RPN, Radio Philippines Network, DXKT 1071 sa inyong mga radyo, ang Radyo Ronda sa Davao.
Welcome back. Sports bodies give financial aid to track and field queen Lydia De Vega, who is now in very critical condition because of breast cancer. The Sports Commission donated 300,000 pesos, while the Philippine Olympic Committee gave 100,000. Lydia's daughter appealed for prayers and financial assistance online after revealing that her 57-year-old mother has been battling stage 4 breast cancer for 4 years now. Lydia De Vega is one of the most decorated athletes in Philippine sports. She was dubbed Asia's fastest woman in the 1980s, holding national records for over 3 decades. In the NBA, James Harden stays with the Philadelphia 76ers, but with a contract worth less than a previous deal. ESPN reports the 2018 league MVP agreed to a $68.6 million 2-year deal, $33 million set for the season. Harden said in an interview with the Associated Press that he declined his $47.4 million option last month, so the money could go towards a better lineup for the championship. Philadelphia recently signed Harden's former Houston teammates P.J. Tucker and Daniel House. On to entertainment news. BTS armies can look forward to yet another collaboration from the K-pop sensation rapper Snoop Dogg, producer Benny Blanco, and BTS's Jin, Jimin, V, and Jungkook are releasing the track Bad Decisions on August 5th. The music video will come out the same day. Danish singer-songwriter Maximilian is ready to serenade Filipino fans after waiting 2 years to come to the country. The artist behind the viral hit Beautiful Scars will perform at the Eastwood Mall in Quezon City on Friday and the Venice Grand Canal Mall in Taguig on Saturday. CNN Philippines New Day got a preview of what fans can expect for his two-night concert.
Just sing one. I mean, Beautiful Skies. I wrote that song, man. All right. That's it. I'm not gonna fight back what I've become. Yeah, I got bruises where I came from, but I wouldn't change if I could restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful scars. I've been going way too hard on myself. Guess that is the reason I've been feeling like hell. But I wouldn't change if I could restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful scars.
Maximilian also said the Filipino community back home helped the 2019 track skyrocket to fame. For a tale as old as time, this Grammy-winning Filipino-American singer is set to play a Disney princess. Her was cast as Belle in ABC Network's Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary special airing in December. News outlet Deadline says the director of hit movie Crazy Rich Asians will executive produce the musical special. And that is it for now. Join me again on news.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
This program is brought to you by